Hello. Hello, everybody. We're going to stop flying through the mall. Sorry. Sorry, I left the mall background rolling through the mall. I don't really have much for backgrounds right now for particular this particular view. There's like a phone view and then there's a screen view. I'm trying the phone view so you get like most people watch on a device or a phone now. A lot of people still watch with a PC. I know, and people watch on like a big screen or something. It might look a little different. So I may switch it back, but it's working way better having it in these smaller dimensions when I'm trying to broadcast. So that's good, but I just have to up my game again and probably get a better computer or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch, and it does look good. I was checking in on both just to see what it looked like. And again, I don't like the super busy background with the small screen here. So we'll figure something out with that. As for me doing live updates with this format, it's a little different. So, like, if I want to do a display capture, I don't know how I'm going to do this because display capture, look what it's doing. It's capturing my display here on my computer, which is a widescreen 1920 by 1080 view. And if I bring it out to the phone level, watch this. This is hilarious. Hold on. Um, this is the problem when people use different devices and not everybody has the same size screen kind of thing. Right? That's my display. We can't do that. So we got a little issue going on there. I don't know what I'm going to do for live updates if I'm going to try and broadcast on a phone level. There's a way to change my copy of Windows to be in mobile format, which then turns everything into one big phone screen. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. Maybe I'll just do live updates separately. Like do a separate live stream on a separate computer and then just have this live stream always going just with the earth and the most recent earthquakes here on the screen and then if I have a live update, just start a second live stream and it will pop up. Could do that. That could be a possibility. Anyway, it's good to be here on YouTube and on Twitch at the same time. I know a lot of people on YouTube do not like going over to Twitch. I understand using a different app. You have to download the app. You have to sign up if you want to like actually use anything on the app. So I get it. And YouTube is just, again, it shows up in your feeds. You're already checking likely other channels or you get a notice from YouTube. And Twitch is known for being like a gaming site. It is. If you're playing video games, Twitch is like the place to go. Technically, Earthquake 3D is classified as like a video program. So they do have a science and technology section on Twitch, but nobody even knows to check it. And on YouTube too, quite frankly, they need a science and technology section, like something that you can just straight up click on science and technology, and it just gives you only science and technology with no mainstream stuff. They need to redo the whole format on all these services so that you can just get it easier, right? Okay, how are you doing? How are you guys doing? I'll check the chat room here in a minute and I'll maybe chime in, but again, I hope you're doing well. Things got a little stressful around the world, so it's probably good that I'm here and, trying to bring a little sense of normalcy back, right? Jeez. Anyway, we are here going through it. Now, there has been a little bit of a downtick in activity this past 10 to 11 days. If you're not aware, 10 or 11 days ago, there was the big solar storm arrived. Air glow coming down all the way down to the southern states in the U.S. I saw pretty impressive northern lights here in the Missouri area, which is pretty intense. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was pretty cool. And we were expecting deep earthquake activity within a few days, like 3 or 4 days, and instead it took 10, well, 9. It took 9 days instead of 4. So basically, twice as long it took for just the deep earthquakes to show up. Now we're dealing with more deep earthquakes today on day 10 into 11, and the magnitudes are starting to go up. So it may very well be that we are going through what I was expecting 5 days ago now. We'll know in a day if we start dealing with major earthquake activity. We already had a 60,000 foot high blast coming from over here at Java, Indonesia. Mount Semeru blew 59,000 feet high. So that was a big blast. It was the biggest in months for the planet. That being said, nothing else significant happened. There was a 5.7 off the coast of northeast Japan and a new 5.5 in the last day, and also a 5.7 up north at Kamchatka. Over to the east, we took a step down to fives, and then fours and threes and twos and ones across the North American craton all the way to the east coast, where we have equidistantly spaced earthquakes going from Joint Base Charleston, below Donald Trump's golf course, all the way up here to Quebec, up on the edge of the craton, all the way out to Greenland. I didn't look up the earthquake in Greenland, and I'm not going to now, but, Greenland and wait, could we just like do connect the dots from down here below Trump's golf course out to Greenland? Because if we can, we got a problem. What kind of problem? One I don't want to talk about publicly or make a video on. All right. Anyway, yeah, that's weird, right? The Greenland connection. It is what it is. I'm here to report the earthquakes, man. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. And by the way, that's a Mandela effect now. That they apparently never said that. Right? That's been Mandela'd away. Just the facts, ma'am, is just no longer doesn't even exist. He never said it. It's like, wait, where did that come from? They're trying to say it came from a Saturday Night Live skit that then got applied to Dragnet. But I don't know. Just the facts, man, was like famous for years, and then now they're trying to say it was just again a Mandela effect. It just never was. Ah, yes. Do you believe in Mandela effects? The mind-blowing Mandela effects that really again, I'm not into this Mandela effect thing, but I'll just give you some examples of some weirdness that just is Mandela effect, okay? So when I was a kid, I'm 49 now. When I was a kid growing up, my parents let me watch James Bond movies, which, I mean, at the time they were somewhat risque. I mean, Bond does, and is a ladies' man kind of thing, but they didn't show anything weird. I mean, it was Bond shooting people, of course. Violence is bad to see. But I distinctly remember watching Moonraker with um, James Bond Moonraker, in case you don't know, 007. And Roger Moore is the James Bond in that one, in case you don't know. And in that, it's pretty intense, all right. And the girl who flew the space shuttle was like kind of um, nerdy. Okay, so she had glasses, she had long braided hair. I had a crush on her. I thought I had like kid crush on the girl in the movie. And at the end of the movie, she falls in love with Jaws, the bad guy. But Jaws, the bad guy, and her are deemed um, inferior humans by the bad guy of the movie, who is trying to do this master race stuff. And okay, and so Jaws is inferior because he's a mutant. He's huge. He's got the metal mouth. And the girl is considered inferior because she's small and she has braces. And she smiles at the end of the movie, and Jaws smiles. She smiles at him. He smiles at her. She smiles, and she's got braces. And you finally figure out she's got braces at the end of the movie. Like the whole movie, she's not smiling. And then her and Jaws smile at each other. First, I think it's Jaws smiles. Then they pan to her and she smiles. She's got braces, and they elope at the end of the movie. It's a really funny scene from the movie, and it was cute in the movie again when I was a kid. Okay, well, guess what? She never had braces in any copy that you would have on your old copies. If you have it on VHS at your house, she never had braces at all in the entire movie. Not just in like new redone copies that you might find online or something changed online somehow. No, like go check your old copy. if you have one. The braces are gone. She never had braces in the whole movie. And at the end, she still smiles. Perfect teeth. Even on the old copies. Now, I distinctly remember her having braces. I had a crush on her. Okay, she had braces. I had braces. She had braces. And so the braces are now gone completely and were never in the movie. That's disappeared out of the movie. That's weird. That's a Mandela effect. Uh, The Wizard of Oz, another famous movie that we've all seen a million times, or most of us. The famous old Wizard of Oz movie. And now, if you go watch Wizard of Oz on your copy, if you have it at your house, on your old VHS, so nobody's come in your house and changed the VHS tape somehow. So go check your old copy. And there it is in the movie, a gun. The Scarecrow carries a gun and waves it around, a big shiny pistol, takes it out and waves it around. Then they arm the Tin Man. He's already carrying his wood axe. And they give him another weapon in his other hand, a giant aircraft wrench. And then they give the Cowardly Lion a bug sprayer gun and a net. And so the Scarecrow is waving around his gun in Dorothy's face. And it's in every copy of the old Wizard of Oz. Somehow we all missed the gun, you know? Everybody's like, what? Go check it. And it's not like it's been added online, it's in your old copies that you would have at your house. Speaking of old things that you have at your house that have changed, unfortunately, the Bible. The lion no longer lays down with the lamb. Instead, it's the wolf. And it's not like new international version translation. All the versions. Grandma's old copy up in the attic, or a new version you would go buy. They all say it now. Wolf with the lamb, and the lion is mentioned later on down in. So, yeah, the lion no longer lays with the lamb. Instead, it's the wolf with the lamb. So, God is allowing things to change. I mean, it's the only explanation I can come up with, guys. Chick-fil-A changed. Chick-fil-A. I used to go to Chick-fil-A in the mall. It used to be a mall chain before it became a fast food chain, the independent. They were in malls. They had a Chick-fil-A in a mall here in St. Louis, in Chesterfield Mall we used to go to, which is in West St. Louis County. But long story short, on Chick-fil-A, it used to be CHIK, Chick-fil-A, FIL-A. And now it's spelled proper, CHICK dash Phil, FIL dash A. And if you go check, it always now was CHICK, spelled proper, Phil A. Even back in the mall days, old neon writing, CHICK. So it went from CHIK, used to be CHIK dash FIL dash A. But now if you go look, it's spelled proper. And always was. They say you're tripping if you say it was anything else. Oh man, there's more. Yeah, there's way more. There's way more. But those are like, oh, here's another one. Tom Cruise in the movie Risky Business, right? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And he comes sliding out in his underwear, right? Well, first of all, now he comes sliding out. He's wearing a pink shirt. And it's in your version if you have Risky Business. Or no, is it Risky Business? I think it is Risky Business. The one where he comes sliding out in his underwear playing the guitar with the tennis racket. Okay. He no longer wears sunglasses when he's dancing at all. Looks really awkward. Comes sliding out, Tom Cruise, no sunglasses. The whole dance. So he's in his underwear, he's in the pink shirt now, and I remember a white shirt, but whatever. You could say that was a misremembering of it, but no sunglasses while the dance scene? How do these things change in your house, right? Like you could say, oh, they changed it online, but did somebody break into your house and change your copy of your VHS? It's just mind blowing. And those are just examples of movies. Other things had to have changed. I mean, like I said, in the Bible that changed from wolf in the lamb, from lion in the lamb to now the wolf in the lamb. But with that kind of stuff going on, print is changing. It's just hardly anybody reads books anymore, right? I mean, we just go back and we'll have to start checking books. But something is causing a change in these things. I remember the braces on the girl in Moonraker. So how did that change? Everybody knows about the Berenstain Bears versus now it's called the Berenstain Bears, and it always was the Berenstain Bears. It's like 1984 where it like always was something and they changed it to something else. Yeah, Berenstain Bears that we grew up on, if you were a kid in the 1980s, turned into Berenstain Bears. And if you go check, they say it always was Berenstain Bears. And we're all like, what? We would have made fun of Stain. Stain, anything we wouldn't have like. That would have been a kid's joke. Yeah, I know, I know. So there's some weird stuff going on with the Mandela effect. It could be space time itself changing, warping, manipulating. People try to blame places like CERN. I would look bigger than that. I think that it would maybe be a cosmic phenomenon where certain parts of reality warp and shift over time. It's possible. I mean, scientifically, I think it's possible, but it would just be really weird and kind of scary because if that kind of stuff can change, what else could? Okay. Yeah. Look into it. There's more examples. Again, those are just a few examples that I would give you. But yeah, the Tom Cruise one's really weird. That's really weird because he's still in the cover of the movie, like on the covers of the VHS and so forth. He's getting the sunglasses. Oh man, Bizarro World. That's where we're at. I don't know what to tell you other than those are real examples of something that you would call the Mandela effect, where it changed from something that it used to be that we all remember into something that's completely different and somehow it changed. All right, we're done talking about that topic. I will be back. If anything else goes down, seismically speaking, we're watching. We're just going to have the black background on. I know it's a little boring, but we'll just have the black background behind the earth. And if any earthquakes strike, you will hear the ding of a bell and a rumble, and then it will ding equal to the number of earthquake that it is. So if a 4.0 earthquake strikes, you'll hear four dings of the bell. A five hits, you will hear five dings of the bell. Six, seven, eight, and so forth. You'll hear six, seven, and eight dings of the bell. And by that time, if it's a big earthquake, I will be back on talking and doing a live update. Things look good on YouTube and things look good on Twitch. I think I'll keep it running like this until people complain about the phone format. Not many complaints coming in, so for live updates, we will figure out whatever we need to figure out to get that done. It'll probably be a separate live stream, I'm thinking, so that way I can just keep this running in phone format and then go live. Separate one opens up full screen. You guys can turn your phones and do whatever you need to do to get it in proper view. Someday they'll figure it out where you can do both, right? Like AI will just organize it. I know everybody's against AI, but those mall backgrounds that you saw there, Duchess took pictures forever ago and made those for that made the original picture of a mall with Dutchsinse like up in the rafters of the mall glowing. Taking that single picture, was able to go to AI, Grok in this case over on X, but and just give it the picture. And then it built upon that and made full animated mall scenes realistic, looked real like a real mall, and even outside. Like, so I'm able to ask, please pan to the end of the mall, go out the door, and into a city. And then it just generated the city without me asking for those features in the city. It just generated that. I said, please give it a vaporwave theme aesthetic. And it gave the pastel colors and so forth, the proper lighting and all shading. And it did it in 30 seconds. And I'm like, I know people bash on AI, but for a video maker like me who needs backgrounds for a live stream, who can't afford to hire and wait years for a graphic artist or even months or weeks, but certainly can't afford it. AI cranks that out in like 30 seconds. And it's incredible, like better than any artist I think could do, or at least realistic wise better. Um, you know, when you're looking for realism, like a real looking mall, I said to my wife, I go, there's no excuse now for them not to have like a cyber mall, like Amazon or something. Just instead of just going to a blank page where you've got all these items in front of you, they're on a rack and you can tap around and move items and it looks real. At this point, it should be able to be done. If you can just take a picture of an item and that item can be fully 3D manipulated instantly, you don't even have to scan anything anymore. You just take a picture of it. Like you take a picture of yourself and then you just say, please put this outfit on my avatar. And it just does it instantly. It's amazing. Right? Singing the praises of AI. They got me, guys. They did. It's nanobots. Man, I knew it. I shouldn't have ate that graphene. Funny story. Hey, funny story. Here's something you never want to do that I did. So don't turn out like me. I was making geopolymer, which is a man-made rock. I got interested in it a few years ago while studying Tartaria and the ancient civilization stuff, Paul Cook and so forth, geopolymer, GOP. So making geopolymer and decided I was going to put some graphene into the geopolymer stone mix. It's like a hardens like concrete, some man-made limestone basically that I was making. I wanted to see if we could conduct electricity through solid stone easily without a wire. Well, it turns out it works. You can definitely conduct electricity through solid stone by putting a little mix of graphene into the concrete mix or the geopolymer mix. But here's what I did. I had to get the graphene. It's really expensive to order. You order in small batches. P dot graphene is actually very expensive. Well, I ordered a large bag from China, and um, it was from an industrial site that like a Chinese industrial supplier site. And so I actually got what I thought was a small bag, and instead it was a very large bag of P dot graphene, which I still have wrapped up. And I only needed just a little bit of this stuff. But I decided since I got a whole bunch of it that I would take like maybe like a half cup and mix that in with the geopolymer. So I put the geopolymer mix together and I didn't wear a mask while doing this. But not that it would have mattered because the graphene oxide is a nanoparticle. And as we know, nanoparticles are not stopped by masks, in case you didn't know. I know that was a controversial thing to say a few years ago, but I'm here to tell you it doesn't stop. It's like a chain link fence trying to stop a mosquito. Okay. So I took a half cup and I was wearing gloves, to my benefit, I was wearing latex gloves, but it turns out the latex gloves are they're not they're nanoporous. So in other words, the powder went through the gloves. Okay. They were cheap gloves to be honest. They weren't the best. But so I didn't realize this at first that it had all gone through, a lot had gone through the gloves. And I'm mixing the geopolymer with my hands with all this graphene in there. And I'm not wearing a mask, so obviously I've breathed it in at this point already just by scooping it out of the dang bag. And so I'm mushing it together, and one of the pieces of sand that was in I mean, I don't know how many pieces of sand, but a whole bunch, a few million pieces, but one of them was sharp, and it opened the glove, and I didn't realize it. So now one of the gloves is completely torn, and the other one, the nanoparticles, have completely gone through. By the time I felt liquid on my hand, I was like, "Oh shit! Oh no!" Now I didn't know anything about this. Is 2019 into 2020. So right before COVID. Anyway, mixed it all up, got this all over my hands. And I just came in and washed it off in the sink with some soap and water. And that was that. And I made an ashtray out of the geopolymer mix. So I made an electrically conductive ashtray. Well, the geopolymer mix that I used or that I made was a limestone, but I didn't mix it right. So it started to turn into its own separate powder, if you will. I left it sitting out on the workbench in my garage. I came back out and it had already crumbled a little bit. And again, I didn't know anything about I read the material safety data sheet on graphene in general, but I didn't look into the medical stuff. I didn't look into like where it goes in your body if you get it and will it ever come out? You know, I didn't bother to read any of that shit. I just mixed it in basically. I knew it was electrically conductive. Didn't really know it was too harmful. And long story short, I got a lot of it in me. That was 2019. But it wasn't the kind that Fauci put in you. Okay. So the difference is mine is my own programmable, that I was just unprogrammed graphene that got put into me, nanobots that are on my own. Now you guys got Fauci's version that he made that I think does something. Okay. Ugh. Get me out of here. It's a funny story though. I mean, it's true. It's a true story. So it turns out it stays in your system. Nobody knows where. I'm not. Maybe the liver probably it probably penetrated the brain barrier, but don't worry. The uranium that's already in there is already filling that void. So the graphene oxide just went right on. Probably came out my fingernails. Okay, look, you got to remain positive. When you screw up like that, you just got to look on the bright side of life. That you're probably going to be glowing. It's going to attach to my skeleton. It's in my bones. Totally, totally. Right? I'm a Wi-Fi extender in the graveyard. I'm getting signal now. I'm standing next to Dutchsinse grave. Okay, all right. Yes, yes. So, yeah, so don't be stupid. Don't do stupid things like that. I did that. Don't do that. Dutch did that. Don't repeat it. Or did I test to see if it was dangerous and it turns out it's not? I don't know. Yeah, they say it's dangerous to get into your system. I would think that probably for your liver and for other purposes, nanoparticles and anything are probably going to be bad. But a little graphene never hurt anybody. Yeah, the uranium joke isn't a joke. Actually, it's real. Yeah, I smoked uranium. You think I'm joking? I'm not. When I was 16 and 17 and 18 years old, pretty much 16, 17. By 18, they were tearing the place down. We used to go out to a Manhattan Project site, Malincroft facility in Defiance, Missouri, west of St. Louis. We would skip high school and go out and get high. We would smoke the reefer and we would climb up the inside of these towers to go sit on top of the towers. You had to climb up the inside of the tower, of course. And they were silos. They were about 100 feet tall, maybe a little bigger. And we had to climb over all this grinding equipment that was rusted and had a bunch of dust and stuff all over it. Well, we didn't know that that was uranium millings from the Malincroft facility. It was processing uranium, grinding it down to a fine powder before they would put it into centrifuges and develop what they would then turn into nuclear weapons. So it was high quality, highly radioactive uranium and other things, cobalt and other things too, that they were grinding up on these grinders that were inside the tower that we climbed over every week or so. We would go out to this place for a few years. So we would climb over all the stuff and we get it on our hands, and it was like a black powder, kind of like graphene, but fine as like graphite. Just get under your fingernails. It would get in your, and you would see your fingerprints. You'd leave fingerprints on things afterwards. It's almost like ink. But anyway, we'd climb to the top of the thing. We would roll. I'd get up there and roll a joint, pack it full, pick out the seeds, because of course we're smoking brick at that point, guys. In case you don't smoke weed, kids, it's bad for you. But I was stupid and young. But all over the paper and the weed are breaking up. When we smoked it, it would spark. And we just thought it was grit or gravel from, it get dirty from climbing up in there. You don't really think about it much. But it wasn't until one day we were out there. And again, I was like 17 turning 18. So like I'm a senior in high school, getting ready to get out. We're skipping school again. We're out there and we're on top of the tower in the middle of the day. And we hear beeping coming from across the highway that we don't normally hear when we're out there. Normally it's quiet. And across the highway, it's a 2-lane country highway. There's these heavy machinery with dump trucks that have green backs on the top and guys that are wearing radiation suits inside of these self-contained units that they're driving. And they've got a backhoe, several backhoes going at once, and they're putting it into these dump trucks. And the dump trucks are driving up a new road that got built in a matter of a week's time. And they were driving far away back into the woods. It turns out they were driving to an army base 10 miles away to pile up all the debris they were tearing out from the Malincroft facility leaked, and it went underneath the highway. It was all in that building, the buildings, huge concrete buildings that we were in. They were all the processing buildings. And so across the highway was a quarry where they had apparently left barrels of stuff. And they were taking all that out. They scooped out the whole quarry. Then they tore down the facility that we were going to get high in. And they built a police shooting training range there where the cops sit there and shoot lead into the ground all day long now. And the road they built was fenced off on both sides. And they drove just dump truck after dump truck. It was a mountain's worth of material that they took up there. It took years. It became a super fun site. That's when we figured out that we were up inside of something we probably shouldn't have been. And we come to find out it was uranium processing, and we were smoking freaking uranium. Seriously, like by accident. We were deliberately smoking uranium. We didn't know. I mean, God, if I would have known. We knew the place was something, but we called it the Aquadome because it had all these big pipes that went up. So apparently they were also had a lot of liquid going through this place with all the piping that was in there. And the piping went up to a dome type structure. I don't know what the hell they used with the dome structure, but we called it the Aquadome. And we knew it was US government because it had old rusted signs on these fences that went around the whole place that we had to crawl under. And it said US government property, but that was it. Didn't have any radiological signs or anything on it. Now it turns out to be one of the more toxic radiological pollution sites in the United States. Oh man, enough that it's a super fun site and they had to tear it all out. Man, oh man. Mm-mm-mm. So yes, between the graphene and the uranium, I'm telling you what, I really am the glowing Dutchman, flying Dutchman ship off on the distance of the horizon of the sea, glowing green. That's why I got the Geiger counter. Okay. False positives on the Geiger from me. Dutch, you're clicking. Uh-oh. All right. It is 1:52 a.m. Central Time. Should I keep YouTube going? Should I? Again, YouTube has like this stream limit thing where you get to 12 hours and they either shut it off or basically just reduce it down to nothing. Nobody even sees it. I wanted to get on YouTube just to see if the stream looked good. It does look good in this format, but I can't leave it running 20. I mean, there are 24/7 streams on YouTube, but again, they reduce your viewership. Literally, will cut it in half and then cut it in half again and cut it in half again because live streams cost a fair amount of money for YouTube to run, or even Twitch. In case you didn't know. If you guys watch Lookner, you see him reset his stream every 12 hours. Okay. You know who Lookner is? If you're not subscribed to Steve Lookner, Agenda Free TV, I'll tell you what, you're missing out. Longtime viewer, love the guy. Yeah, I know, I know. No conspiracy theories allowed, he said. I think I'm the only exception they allow in there. But I've been with him since day one. Ah, yes, yes, Lookner. Oh, yes. I've got a few channels that I watch on YouTube still. Monkey Works, still watch Monkey Works from time to time. Two Pineapples, the live stream, and Doing Hawaii, the live stream. There for Hawaii, we watch those. We've also been listening to Nemo's Dreamscapes lately. It's like a lounge music channel that plays all sorts of stuff from the 1940s and 50s. What other YouTube channels have I been watching lately? Been watching a live stream from the middle of Namibia, Africa. It's a camera set up in the desert, and it just pans around and captures all kinds of weird creatures. It's from some kind of game reserve place in Africa. I watch it more for the freak factor of knowing that there's a live stream that's been running every day, nonstop, 24/7 for 8 years or 9 years from middle of Africa. Well, I've been shut down more times than you can even imagine here in the US. Yeah, there's a few YouTube channels that are still worthwhile. Violin Chick is the most underrated YouTube channel. She's on Twitch, but Violin Chick needs more viewers. She does violin playing live and takes requests, and she plays any song that you ask her to play. I know, right? That's actually pretty cool. I don't get anything for recommending these channels. I'm not in some kind of network with them or anything. They don't even know me. I think Monkeyworks knows who I am. Y'all don't know me. That's good. They don't want to know Dutchsinse. You know Dutchsinse, you go on a list. You're a viewer of mine, you're probably on a list. You're probably sitting right next to a shill in the chat room. Half my viewership is government agents. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Every country has somebody assigned. Think about that. Every country has one person at least assigned. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. I'll be right back. Okay, I just had to check in on YouTube here just to make sure everything's still all good. X dropped out earlier, so trying to simul stream on 3 different services at once. It's a little different. So we're on Twitch, YouTube, and we were on X, but it is gone. Okay, we're over here on YouTube now. I am in chat. Hey, check out. CIA has entered the chat, says unherded. The CIA. Oh, my aunt was in the CIA. Aunt Jennifer just found out last month. My 81-year-old mother disclosed to us just by chance in conversation when I started asking about weird stuff that's been going on. And she just volunteered the information. My wife and I could not believe it, honestly. My wife's like, what? Yeah, I know. Would be nice to have known that a while ago. Aunt Jennifer. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyway. Yeah. Who else is in the chat here? I haven't seen any of you guys in a long time. Long time viewers, guys. I was just talking about this. I've been streaming since 2015. So it's been 10 years of streaming. And then before that, I started at the 2010, 2011 time frame. So the YouTube channel is getting a little old here. I'm getting a little old. But can you believe it? We've been here that long for long timers. Dude, it is crazy. Again, it's a joke, but it's also true that my channel is older than some of my critics. Ah, yes. I was forming my YouTube channel when you were just a glimmer in your father's eyes, Zoomer kid. Get off your hoverboard. Take out your earbuds. Listen to me. Hear me now. Listen to me later, kid. Hear me now. Listen to me later. All right. Now, it's 2 a.m. on Sunday morning here in the States. It's midnight on the West Coast still. Saturday turning into Sunday. I can't play music on YouTube. Otherwise, I would be jamming music this whole time. But yeah, we can't play music on YouTube. They're very, very weird about what we can and can't play. The auto identification system just shuts down the stream if it matches a beat, basically. So DJing's out of the question. I can't even do my turntables. We tried it. I had my own unique mix it going, and YouTube hit it with a beat ID. And I'm like, what? And it was a wrong song too. It wasn't even the right song. I know. So that's why you don't have many live DJs on YouTube unless it's like some record company that's like promoting and paying $1 million for it kind of like thing. Yeah. Yeah, you wonder why there's a lack of live performances on YouTube. Yeah, you know why. If somebody wants to make $1 billion or more, you start a new video service that works with YouTube and X and all the others, and it's for live venues. So, like bars and clubs and local places where there's bands that play and so forth, and a separate service that just streams that live, like YouTube. So it's free to watch and anybody can go. Because it would be great to be able to browse live performances of bands all over the world playing at different clubs and playing at different restaurants. Because they do broadcast that stuff, but getting it all together in one spot and not getting it auto flagged by YouTube, somebody needs to make a new service or an app that does it. I'd use it, right? Live performances. Whatever happened to them? The internet was supposed to connect us. Yeah, I don't know if I like that actually. Hold on. Hold on. Being connected to everybody hasn't exactly been my dream that I thought it was going to be. Somewhere between annoying and a nightmare, right, guys? Social media is awesome, Dutch. What are you talking about? Okay. Well, this section of social media is awesome. The science section, the learning section, what it was supposed to be, where we get along and we care about each other's well being and we're trying to survive earthquakes and trying to know and learn things. Yeah, it's a little different than the rest of social media, isn't it? So 2 a.m., what do we do at 2 a.m.? I might be able to play some mall music or some elevator music. Yeah, we could get away with mall music, but I don't know if everybody likes music from the mall. Mall sounds, the sound of the mall. Do you like that? Elevator music, do you like that? Some xylophones? Weather Channel music? You want to listen to the Weather Channel music? We could do it. We could do xylophones and mall music. That's the extent of it on YouTube. I'll be back. We'll see what we can dig up. Hold on. I saw somebody in chat asking if we're expecting a large earthquake. Well, we were with this past week, well, 10 days. 10 days ago, going on 11, we had the solar storm that came down and everybody saw northern lights across the northern hemisphere, USA and so forth. And from that point, we started looking for deep earthquakes to happen and then a shallower, larger earthquake to hit in Japan in particular. And while Japan got the biggest earthquake of the week, which was a 5.7, we were basically looking for 2 magnitudes larger, 100-fold more power in the location in Japan in particular. And instead, we didn't get that at all. Instead, over to the west, southwest, we got a 60,000-foot eye blast from Mount Semeru in Indonesia, far southwest of Japan, far away. So let me just show you really quick. We're looking up here for a large earthquake on the coast of Japan, and the largest earthquake of the week struck right there, 5.7, but that's nothing, earthquake-wise. But then instead, down here, we get a 60,000-foot eye blast from Mount Semeru. So something big did hit, but that's a miss on the earthquake forecasting. Like, where did the energy go? Well, it took 10 days for our deep earthquakes to start. And so we're looking for, first we have deep earthquakes, then shallower, larger earthquakes start popping off. So these are raised high off the planet so we can see them easily as deep earthquakes. And the more we have, the more pincushiony Earth looks here, the more we expect large earthquakes to come up between the deep earthquakes. So right now, we're at the 5.5 to 5.7 level, and we're looking now for this to go up exponentially by 2 magnitudes. That's a 100-fold increase in power. So I'm looking for this to go up to upper 7. Spots still look spot on the spots that are moving. I mean, nothing has changed in the last 10 days on the areas that are moving. We're moving from North Japan up to Kamchatka, over to Alaska, just like we were 10 days ago. And we're moving between our deep earthquakes at Fiji over to Indonesia. So there's a few spots to be filled in. Again, so are we looking for a large earthquake? We were, but if I flop a forecast, I don't issue a new forecast until I figure out where I got it wrong. Sometimes I'll go a month or 2 months even or something. I'll wait until I figure out where the energy went or what I got wrong. That's the proper way to do it, in my opinion, for forecasting. You stop what you're doing, you try to figure out where you get it wrong. If only meteorologists did that, right? I should have gone to college to learn how to ignore being wrong. You know what I mean? Okay, so that means, look, I'm here for jokes too. If you guys tired of earthquakes, but we're looking for the next step up in the next day. If we don't get it in the next day, we're not looking for it at all. So that's why I'm live now too, is I'm also here to tell you 10 days ago when I got on and told you we're watching for 7 to 10 days. Well, here we are at the end of the 10 days. We have multiple new deep earthquakes that just struck last night going into this morning. And that means we watch next to the deep quakes. That means our most likely large earthquake location, unless a new series of deep strike up at Japan, we're going to be watching between Indonesia, Fiji for a big break to happen. And then we're going to be watching between Kamchatka and Taiwan. So 2 spots. And that's Japan and Solomon Islands. U.S. is swarming over in the United States. In case you didn't know, we're having swarms of earthquakes go across the plate. And that's a change from where we were, which we don't normally get swarms all the way across the plate. But we'll see that we have stacks of earthquakes going at least as far east as Oklahoma, the drill points in Oklahoma for oil and gas. And down in Texas, this is somewhat normal down in Texas, all the drill points getting hit there as well. And drill points getting hit in Arkansas, but the New Madrid seismic zone started to move a little bit there. There's no drill points on the New Madrid directly, but there are just southwest in Arkansas. The equidistant spaced earthquakes up the East Coast are very interesting, in my opinion. If you were to take the time to go look these up, you'd find out this 1.9 is next to Joint Base Charleston, military base. You'd find out this one is next to or below Donald Trump's golf course, Bedminster. And 2.0 up to the north, up in Quebec. But they're equidistantly spaced across the east coast edge of the craton. And when we get equidistant spaced earthquakes across anything, it's a sign of a wave going across something. So think of these like wave peaks going across a lake edge. Okay, 2 a.m. We're jib jabbering on about earthquakes and other things, but we are waiting and watching to see if any large earthquake activity develops today in particular. And we're looking between our sets of deeps. One more time, we're going to watch Solomon Islands in Japan. Japan is a carryover from the last 10 days. Like I said, we'll give it 1 day, but if a 7.8 were to hit tomorrow in Japan, then I will accept it. Otherwise, it's a full miss on the earthquake forecast, and we have to figure out where the energy went for the planet. If it comes bubbling up in the next day and starts seeing him hammer off. I mean, we did float the possibility. I floated the possibility that they may have been downgrading earthquakes this week, and that we really did get 6.0 level activity at least off the coast of Japan, and they did some crazy downgrades. That's totally believable. They've taken sevens down to fives before. So, I mean, you know that, right? They've deleted sevens even. Call them a mistake. Yeah. Oh, don't get me going on the magnitudes. I'll start geeking. I will start freaking out, start ranting. That's for daytime. That's for daytime YouTube. Nighttime YouTube, we need to have that mall music, xylophone, weather channel music going about right now. I think we could probably get away with that. Let's see. Hold on. I don't know why I'm feeling xylophones, but man, I'm feeling xylophones. That's what we're going to hear. Let me dig out the xylophones.